What is up, all you beautiful people? It is I, AkemiTCG, back here with the brand new video. Quick play spells. Everybody loves them. We can use them during our turn as just a regular spell card, pretty much at any point during your turn, unless it's specified in the card that you can't do so. Or you can set them and use them as a trap, kind of like a pseudo-trap on your opponent's turn. So today, me and Mario compiled a list of 10 quick play spell cards you should be aware of during this format. Hope you all enjoy it. Alright, we are back here with none other than Mario.
Akemi, what's going on, my guy? How was your Father's Day today, my guy?
It was pretty good, just really hot. How about yours?
Equally as hot. Yes, it was very hot. Luckily, I got the fan blasting in my room right now, but yeah, sweating bullets.
Yep, we're sweating bullets, so we're gonna try to make this fast, but also concise. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna get you the full knowledge. We have Crusader Equimax here, ready to give you guys the ultimate one-punch news. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, man. Let's cite some of this BITC.
Alright, so the first quick play spell card, you haven't guessed it, you haven't figured it out already, we're gonna talk about is Super Polymerization. Oh my god, man.
This card is absolutely incredible. It's at 3. I think it's good at 3 right now, but yeah, let's get to the effect first. So essentially, you need a discard, so that's the one downside to it. But you can activate it as a quick play spell, which means on your turn or on your opponent's turn, discard a card, and you can fuse with any 2 monsters on the field, including your opponent's monsters. The catch is, your opponent cannot respond to this card. It's absolutely insane.
Like, they can't do anything to it. Sometimes, I've literally seen boards, okay, with, you know, Pendulum Magician at its prime. Somebody playing Super Poly and fusing 5 Spellcaster monsters on the opponent's side of the field to summon Quintet Magician on your side of the field. Absolute blowout. And there's so many generic Super Poly targets, including anybody that's playing any Dark deck, you're already in trouble, man. We have Starving Venom. We have Predaplant Trip for Rantham. Another Predaplant card. We have Mudragon, which everybody can get now because it got reprinted in Toon Chaos. We have the War Guard Dragon card. And we have like a Salamangreat card. We have so many targets, man. The fact that you can't respond to this gives you a super good ease of mind. Like, they can't Solemn Judgment it. They can't do anything in regards to it. So this card is just an amazing blowout. You have to be very, very careful playing against this card, especially if you're playing against zombies. I know we're like going a little bit long on this card, but like this card is just very oppressive this format, and if you're not prepared for it, you could die. The next card, I know it's at 1, but you have to be careful of this card. It's going to be Set Rotation. So this lets you set 2 field spells with different names, any 2, from your deck onto your field. 1 onto your side of the field, and 1 to your opponent's side of the field. While either of those cards remain set on the field, neither player can activate set or set other field spells. So usually, most of the time you grab Mystic Mind. If you're playing True Draco, you grab Diagram. You could even grab, was it Lost World if you're playing Dinos?
Yeah, this card is absolutely amazing. And one of the interesting things about this card is upon its release, I don't think people really understood how broken it actually was. It took some time to kind of catch on, but once we realized how powerful this card was, Konami hit it with the limited hammer almost immediately. One of my favorite parts about this card, or one of my favorite factors regarding this card, is that it becomes essentially a 4th copy or a 5th copy of your field spells, considering you're also playing a terraforming. And not to mention, if you're playing a deck that's going to set up a lot of cards on the field, you're essentially giving your opponent 1 card, which allows you to play around and evenly matched.
Absolutely, too. Like, and also, because you're giving your opponent a card, they can't imperm either.
Exactly. It also plays really well around impermanence, and like I said, it just gives you an extra outlet to access your field spells, particularly in decks like Subterror, or if you're playing True Dracos or something else like Dinos that plays the Dragonic Diagram. It's a really good card for that purpose. Also, keep in mind, this takes not 1, but 2 cards out of your deck. So since it's a quick play, you can chain it to something like a Pot of Extravagance. Activate the Extravagance to draw 2, chain the set rotation, take the 2 field spells out so you know that you can't draw those 2 cards.
Absolutely, too. It's just an amazing card. And also, I know this is very niche, and some people are going to abuse it for that fact, but if you give your opponent a card called Gateway to Chaos, your opponent's locked out on using field spells. Unless they're playing Blackluster Soldier in the deck, which they're most likely not, they cannot flip that Gateway to Chaos up. Therefore, if they're playing any field spells that are essential to their deck, they cannot play it. Now, on to the next one. We've talked about this card before, but this is such a good card that we have to include. And if you're from Duel Links, you know what I'm talking about. We got Cosmic, Cyclone, and Twin Twisters too, because they kind of do similar things to get rid of back row. Pay 1,000 life points, target a spell or trap card on the field, yeet it, banish it, gone, Shadow Realm.
Yep, you hit him with the old yeet. I remember when this card was actually announced years ago, but it's been in the metagame for quite some time, and for good reason. Particularly right now, Cosmic Cyclone is a really good card against the Eldritch matchup, because fun fact, if you didn't know this, if they attempt to activate one of their trap cards and you hit it with Cosmic Cyclone, yes, the card actually won't even get a chance to summon itself because it will just be banished.
Right.
Not to mention also, if you preemptively try to hit one of their traps with this card, the card will summon itself, but on successful summon, it will actually banish itself, because it is technically still considered the trap that you target.
Correct. The 4th card in the list is going to be Called by the Grave. If you have to play this card, if you're playing any sort of combo deck, you have to play this card. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. And if you do, until the end of that turn, the next turn, I mean, its effects are negated, as well as activated effects and effects of the field of a monster with the same original name. So, a lot of people are kind of confused on how this card works. Mario, do you want to give a quick 101 on how to properly use this card?
Sure, no problem. So, Call by the Grave is typically a card that you're going to play in decks, in one of 2 ways. The first way is if you're trying to play around a hand trap. So let's say you have a card like Signet Mining, which discards a card to search out a Cyberse monster. If you activate that card and discard a card, and your opponent hand traps you, you're going -1. So you want to really avoid that. So Call by the Grave will allow you to just chain that directly from your hand. It will take whatever hand trap they activated out of the graveyard by banishing it, and also negate the effects of that card and all other cards with that card's name until the following turn. So that means if my opponent hit me with an Ash Blossom and I Call by the Grave it, now on my turn, my Ash Blossom will also be. So that's something that I have to be very careful. Yes. Another way to activate or to use Call by the Grave is, let's say that my opponent plays a card that they had already previously used in the duel. Let's say it's one of their normal summons. How about Lady Debug, just for example? If they will summon a Lady Debug and I have a set Called by the Grave, and they also have a Lady Debug in their graveyard, I can actually activate Called by the Grave on effect activation, banish the Lady Debug that's in their grave, and now, since I banished that monster from their grave, and the Lady Debug on the field has the same name as it, that on-field debug will also be negated.
Exactly. I've had one small story with it where I played against Unchained Player. He was featured on this channel before, and he played the Unchained Link that during my turn, he can link off into a larger link using one of my monsters on my turn. So during his end phase, I Call by the Grave that link monster that's in the graveyard, and he couldn't activate it the next turn. And that's how I won the game.
See, that was a really heads-up play. A very heads-up play. And I actually saw, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mega Capital G, but on his channel, I actually saw a duelist that was able to Call by the Grave a previous Nibiru to stop another Nibiru. Very smart.
Yes, it's Call by the Grave, very, very flexible card. The more you use it, the better you'll get at it. I guarantee you. At first, if you're kind of new to the game and you're watching this, it's going to be kind of tricky to use. You're going to be wondering, oh, why is people playing this card? But the more you play it, you realize the better and better and better it gets. And it's not locked to a hard once return. So if somebody negates your first call by somehow, then you can play another one.
Exactly, and you did allude to something. This card, for new players in particular, is going to seem a little bit underwhelming at first. But when you realize that it really helps you push for your big meat and potatoes plays of your deck, you're going to realize that it is a really good card, and it also stops a plethora of other things on top of that. So it's a really solid card.
The next card is going to be deck specific, but you have to watch out for this card. And it's going to be Widow Anchor. I believe this card is at 2 in the format. I will check right now on TCG. It is at 2. confirmed. If you control no monsters in the main monster zone, target a face-up effect monster on the field. Negate that face-up monster's effect until the end of the turn. Okay, you have no monsters on your main monster zone, you negate something. That's fine. Then, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can take control of that monster to the end phase. Now it gets good.
Yeah, that second effect there pretty much just makes this card amazing, and it warranted a limited to 1 status on a previous ban list. Fortunately for the Sky Striker deck, Konami actually bumped this card up to 2. A lot of players shaking their head why, especially because we just had Engage banned along with a plethora of other cards in that archetype limited. But bringing the card back to 2 definitely gave Sky Strikers a boost that it needed to compete.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You're going to lose to this card a lot if you play against Sky Striker. And a good rule of thumb when you're playing against Sky Striker is you always kind of want to play around this card. You can't assume they're not going to have a trap that's not a threat if they have a back row on the field. You kind of have to play as if they always have Widowmaker, if that makes sense.
Oh, I completely agree with that notion as well. Also, keep in mind that this card, Sky Striker Widow Anchor, is pretty much the most important card, I would say, in the Sky Striker mirror match. You always want to make sure that your opponent is unable to take your Sky Striker monster, because essentially they can link it off very easily. And especially with cards like Eagle Booster kind of phasing themselves out of the meta, this is a really risky card in the mirror match.
Absolutely, I agree. On to the next card, and you're gonna pop off on this one, man. Because any of you don't know in the chat, Mario plays a ton of Salamangreat, and this card is extremely good at Salamangreat, and it's a very old card called Enemy Controller.
Econ! This card is absolutely amazing. Shoutouts to my boys Steamo and Blade Yugioh. I remember back when Blade was playing Salamangreats, he had a top at a regional or a YCS, I forget, but Steamo ended up doing his deck profile, and he was actually main 3 copies of Enemy Controller. And the theory behind that was he could normal summon his Foxy, and for those of you who don't know, Salamangreat Foxy has 2 effects. It has a Pot of Duality-esque effect where you can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add one that's a Salamangreat card to your hand, or it has a Grave effect where you can pitch a Salamangreat card and special summon it to pop a face-up spell or trap. Referring to the first effect, however, its Pot of Duality effect, what he would do is normal summon his Foxy, activate the Pot of Duality effect, and then if his opponent had a hand trap, he could actually Econ, tribute the Foxy, take one of his opponent's problematic monsters, and still resolve the Pot of Duality effect.
That's actually brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Wow. S tier plays. And because this is also a quick play spell, you can use it as kind of like a pseudo-trap on your opponent's turn. So if you just leave like a little Balance on the field or something, or you've already resolved Rage, then you can still tribute one of your monsters and take control of one of your opponent's monsters. Or if you don't even have anything to tribute, if somebody's attacking you for game and that monster's not a link monster, you can turn it to defense.
Exactly, and people kind of forget how broken that is. Remember, Boral Sword can change a monster to defense, and it's really powerful.
I absolutely agree with that. All right,
it's one of those high risk, high rewards cards. But yeah, let's carry on.
Our next card, we are 6th done, and the next card is going to be Elixir of White Fates or White Destiny. And I'll pop off on this one, Mario.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at this point, I'm sure a lot of the people watching this video are either very, very, very much a proponent of the Eldritch strategy, or they're very much an opponent of the Eldritch strategy. This is one of those cards that you have to look out for. Usually I see most Eldritch players playing this card at 1 in the main deck, if that, but I do see it quite often. It's kind of a recovery card. It allows you to special summon a zombie monster from your hand or graveyard, but if you don't control any Eldritch monsters, it can only be an Eldritch monster that you special summon. So that means that technically, if you wanted to splash in some extra zombie support into your Eldritch deck, this is a really good card to have. Again, it is one of those recovery cards, so it's kind of like a mid to late game card, but of course it also does come with the added bonus effect that all the Eldritch spells or traps come with, where it can set an additional card if you banish it from your grave. So it's a really powerful card, and you're definitely going to have to look for it in the Eldritch matchup.
The next card is going to be, oh boy, mass change. Shoutouts to my boy Dark Law, where you banish everything, and also you get to rip a card out of your opponent's hand if they add. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's a reason that he has the colloquial name Dank Law.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much one of the most powerful boss monsters in the game, I would say, in a vacuum. Like you alluded to, if your opponent adds any card from their deck to their hand, you get to just rip one for free, and it also serves as a one-sided macrocosmos, which is entirely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So what this card does, before summoning Dark Law, how it works is, you can target any hero monster you control, send it to the graveyard. Also, special summon a mass hero monster from your extra deck with the same attribute that said monster had when it was on the field. So you just summon Shadow Mist, or literally any of your hero monsters like that recur into a different or the same attribute, then you can use that.
Right, and this card is also highly searchable within the hero archetype, particularly off of things like, if I'm not mistaken, your Shadow Mist. And also, you can pretty much search this off of your masked hero Anki. And your Anki can pretty much attack, destroy a monster, search another copy, and then, since it's a quick play, you can activate it in the battle phase to just change your Anki into another Anki.
And if you have multiples of these, you can keep popping off. I've seen someone like attack me, activate mass chains. I'm like, okay, I'm not dead. I'm at like 300 life points. Then he mass chains again. Oh my god.
Feels super bad, man.
But hey, they need it. Alright. The next card is gonna be, oh boy. Shoutouts to MST.TV. Quick launch, and also anybody that literally plays Rockets or any form of Dragon Link. This card, I use this in Crusadia Guard Dragon because it lets me go with my Rocket plays. Special summon a Rocket monster from your deck. It cannot attack, also destroy it from the end phase. Are you kidding me? Any Rocket monster. Doesn't matter the level, doesn't matter the attribute, doesn't matter the type, it just has to be a Rocket monster. And it's free. The only downside is you can't attack.
Yeah, I would say, like you said, it's pretty broken that it's any Rocket monster. I would say, I mean, you probably know this better than I do. Most of the time, you're going to get Tracer, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Because you can use Tracer and then pop up another monster or another card you have on the field, and then you can, keep going off from there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And if you're watching this on pretty much any time after the Sunday of Father's Day, there was literally a Rocket FTK announced today. So you're going to be seeing this card a lot more in the competitive meta, especially as your locals begin to open up.
I remember this card being problematic, and the biggest reason I find this card problematic, and I love this card, but like, the biggest reason I find this card problematic is it does not have a hard once per turn clause. So if you have 3 of this in your hand, you can go off with all 3 of them.
Konami, what is this, Toons? Why are we still printing cards that don't have once per turn clause? At least give it a soft once per turn. Like,
I think this card was printed in the same set as Borrow Load and Ash Blossom, and that's actually relatively recent. So I don't know what was going on in their minds. They're like, oh, I guess the only limitation could be it can't attack, but this card's extremely good. You have to seriously watch out for this card.
Hey man, whatever Konami R&D is smoking over there, some of that.
Absolutely. The last card is going to be Rank Up. Literally any of the rank ups, we're gonna pick the one that I've seen most commonly in use, and the one that I think this recently got unbanned. I think maybe 2 formats ago. Quick Launch.
This card, it was huge in a previous format because, or the rank up card that I'm thinking of was used in conjunction with what's that monster that was able to completely shut off monster effects?
Oh, this one.
Azathoth. Yeah.
No, not Azathoth. It was Azathoth, and also people were using in the Spiral format. They were using Yuga.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this card's incredibly degenerate because you could just tutor it out and set it to your field, and then just flip it on your opponent's turn and absolutely shut off their entire turn.
If you can make a dark rank 7. And you play this card, this is also searchable with, I believe, the one of the boots card, I don't remember.
Right.
But during Spiral format, they were using one of the boots cards, they would search up Quick Launch, and then during the standby phase, they would summon Yuga. And I'll explain what Yuga does. After this card is Exceed Summon, for the rest of the turn, other cards and their effects cannot be activated on the field and other cards' effects on the field are negated. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, they can't do anything.
And this is in conjunction. You've already made a board. You usually have a board with like Appaloosa and then a whole bunch of other stuff, and then you summon this guy on top of it. What are they gonna do? Set a card and pass? No, yeah, no, dude. Cards or effects. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And on top of that, when this card was really, really popular, or when kind of the rank up idea was very popular, that's when Rusty Bardiche was still in the game. Mm-hmm. So not only did they have a full board, you also typically had to deal with 2 Fog Blades. So you could not even have a turn after that. So you pretty much skipped 2 of your turns.
Alright, just a heads up, I'm so happy I skipped that format. I actually skipped that format. Absolutely skipped it. I saw the cards and I'm like, nope. We out for about 4 months.
Hey man, you're a luckier man than I am.
And that is it. Our final 10 is going to be Super Poly, Set Rotation, Cosmic Cyclone, Call by the Grave, Widow Anchor, Econ, Eldixir, Mash Change, Quick Launch, Quick Revolve, and any of the rank up magics, but we're looking at a Quick Launch because that one's dumb. You have any final words, Mario?
Dude, I really think it was another great list. I really always have a great time doing these with you, and it's great just to get the information out there to the players and kind of just to recap and create a log of history of what the best cards in the game are at the time. Like you said, you always try to focus mostly on the to the players, but I feel like in these lists there's a little something.
Yeah, we try to add in like just not just all the meta relevant cards, because Call by the Grave, Cosmic, Super Poly, the stuff like that's very meta relevant. But a lot of times people do forget about cards like Econ as well, and you have to keep an eye out for these cards.
Exactly, and just as the game progresses, more and more cards are going to be announced into the game. It seems like every single day Konami is announcing new cards, so it's always just great to remember and to keep an eye on different cards that could be threats in the metagame.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And that concludes our top 10 list. If you liked what you saw, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, or dislike if you didn't like it. Let me know down below what you thought about it. I am AkemiTCG, and this is Mario, and we are signing out. Bye, guys.
Peace.
The world ends now.